Sky's the limit, baby. There's no limit to what we can do. Transmissions are ridiculous. You can do almost everything in a magnetic field. You can do magnetic coupling. Instead of like a torque converter in a car which uses fluid, you can actually have magnets that are facing each other and then just change the distance between them. And the closer they get together, the more strong, and now it's a magnetic field clutch.
It sounds like some of these technologies have been around for a while.
All of this has been around, but it's what people choose to use because it can make money. They don't realize is that when energy becomes inexpensive, nobody will be able to compete with us in manufacturing. I mean, nobody on the planet will be able to.
That was part of my introduction.
Right. It's because it doesn't cost anything to run a robot. It just costs the money to buy it and make it. It doesn't cost any money to run the conveyor system and the little things. Now you get George Jetson. We need to make a new movie of George Jetson on what's really possible. I think that would be a cool thing to see. Because then the world will understand what our future looks like, what man can evolve into. Right now we're sitting in the stagnant world of petroleum, and it's all based on money, where money rules and life has no meaning whatsoever. If it stands in the way of profit, screw the people. We're just going to do our thing. It's a wrong way of thinking. Most of the population on the planet don't think that way. Just the corporate, what's that guy in that movie? Oh, what's his name? Douglas.
Gordon Gekko?
Douglas. Huh?
Gordon Gekko?
Yeah, there you go. That mentality will kill our planet. Sure, greed is good. It gives you drive, but it's not the right reason to be doing what we're doing. We need to be smart little rodents in the face of Mother Nature. She's pissed and she doesn't care. So I can't say that, I suppose, on TV. So she's upset and she doesn't care.
So when you're looking, and when you talk about Mother Nature, you're looking at the most natural ways to go. And I know that one of your ideas, controversially here in this state, is putting windmills out in Lake Michigan.
Bad idea.
Exactly. You say bad idea. You're interested in using wave motion. Use the actual wave motion.
Oh, hydraulics is way more powerful. You put I went to the hearing they had here for the state of Michigan, Grand Homes, a little crew of people that were doing an assessment of that information, asking people what they thought. I don't want to see them things out there. Well, if you went with a flat system, where you're just doing the wave action, you could actually use this for a drive system in a boat as well. Put a trimaran, 2 on each side, 1 in the center, big generator in the center hooking on a slip clutch. Runs the batteries, and the batteries run the propeller in the back. Real simple stuff. You can do stations out in Lake Michigan where you have a Coast Guard station where they can dock out there. There'd be a water bridge kind of thing for employees to drive back and forth out there. They don't have to be that far offshore either. You can use it as a breakwater and make it work. You'd be far enough out to do the job. The energy you could get off of that kind of movement, once you're far enough out, we don't get that much ice, so that wouldn't really be a big issue. And if they had to, they could put bubblers around the systems if they wanted to keep it from freezing. But far enough out, you really have so much movement, it's not a big issue. And a Coast Guard station, a research center to make sure that it's not affecting the wildlife. You don't have the vibrations that you do from the big wind turbines, so you're not going to worry about affecting the fish, which is something that was brought up also. It just makes more sense to do it that way.
And you had mentioned
and
there's
if you
enough
use the
output.
wind blades that we're using now with the sails, those will work on land anywhere. And because they spin this way, you only have to be 10 feet above the tree line. And they're not moving fast. Top speed for most of the turbines that I build are 60 RPM. I got a picture of a sparrow riding on mine in the backyard going around. You know, so it's not going to affect bats and birds and all that kind of thing. Slow is good. All we have to do is change it.
Who's on board with you? I know that you've been pitching the ideas to different people around the state. Who says, you know what, this guy's got some pretty good ideas?
Everybody that understands and learns about it jumps on board pretty much. It's logic. It's common sense. It's not alchemy. It's pretty simple stuff. Like I said, nothing I'm doing is new. Some of this stuff goes back thousands of years.
But you've been expanding.
You know, as far as who's involved, Ron, Eco Wind and Solar, he's doing the LED lighting industry, which is fantastic where it's going with that. 70% less energy to do the same job. And you can get them in cool white, filtered lights, dimmable. They've now got them out there where you can get them in can lights and power cans. They're using them for stage lighting. Actually, I saw the first LED stuff as stage lighting when I was doing that as a side business under Zynox Sound and Light, where I'd put systems in like bars and restaurants and that kind of thing. But right now, as far as all the people that are getting involved, there's a lot of engineers and scientists and retired people that just realize, just like I do, that we need to make a change. We can't sustain this way. It's impossible. There's a science guy I know that's worth his weight in that industry that doesn't agree that we are going to have to evolve as humans into a new energy infrastructure. We're just not sustainable. It's just not possible. We've used over 1 trillion barrels of oil already. We're going through like, one oil company makes like 84, or sells 84 million barrels of oil a day that we use in gas. That's burnt every day. And you figure that turns, each gallon of gas equals 19 pounds of CO2. We're at 400 and some parts per million now. Officially this year we have 7 billion people. When your father was born, we were 2 billion. Put things in perspective. So, it has to be done. There's no choice, is the way I see it.
And so it has to start now, and the transition time is how long do we have in the last minute here? I mean, in your estimation, what's the lead time?
Well, the experts say we won't move into the renewable energy industry for another 10 to 30 years. Most of the guys I work with, it's going to happen this year. I mean, most of what's going to be in place is happening this year.
Okay. Brad Callio, Zynox, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome, sir.
And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.